Hi, everyone. This is Chris Van Dusen with MeetingBurner. I'd like to get the webinar started. We're going to talk about tricks and tips for awesome meetings and webinars every time. As I said, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for MeetingBurner. My information is below, both my personal Twitter handle as well as the company, and my email should you guys ever need anything from me. Today what I'd like to do is break up the webinar into 3 sections. So we're going to start by doing a review of the product of MeetingBurner and what our features are, and then move into some great tips and tricks for running successful meeting platform or running successful meetings. And then third, we'll do an actual demo of MeetingBurner where we can look at some of the features we've discussed. So first, I'd like to talk about our pricing structure. As you know, we have 3 accounts. We have MeetingBurner Free, and that's free for everyone always. Allows up to 15 participants. We have MeetingBurner Pro, which is our mid-level. Big difference is up to 50 participants and recording. And then we have our Premier, which we'll be showing off most of the features of Premier today, which is up to 1,000 attendees, which is a large room, as well as our autopilot meetings, PayPal integration, and our full analytics suite with the meeting temperature. And don't forget, everyone, if you stay to the end, we're going to have a special offer for our Premier account. So just keep that in mind. So let's keep going for our features. Our biggest advantages, as you can see from this, speed, simplicity, integration. We'll get into what the social integration is with our recording, and then some of the features that I just mentioned on the right-hand side for our Premier users. Speed really is our biggest differentiator. Just when you look at these clock times here, for our attendees, even the host sitting in and hosting a meeting is lightning quick. So we say as long as you know your name and email address, you should be able to get in and participate in the meeting. Simplicity. With nothing ever to download as an attendee, it is lightning fast to get in right through your browser, so it really cuts down on tech difficulties you may experience. There is always going to be the possibility of something going wrong, but the way we've engineered MeetingBurner, we try and mitigate that from happening. There are occasional server crashes and things that we deal with, but at the end of the day, we really try to make this the most seamless and easy experience for a host as well as an attendee. So we have full telecom integration, phone bridges, Skype, and webinar for our webinars, as well as the ability to listen through your browser. We are currently working on a new solution for that. That should mitigate any issues that anyone's had in the past, as well as make a much better experience for everyone going forward with a full voice over IP system. We allow for one-touch recording. This really is a fantastic feature, both PC as well as Mac. All you have to do is touch that record button. It looks identical to what you see there in your live meeting room, and you will be right you'll be right there. The recording will start, and then we process it and deliver it to you at the end. All of our recordings are hosted server side, which means that we actually host them for you and give you the ability to do a lot with it. You can send them out via YouTube. You are more than welcome to email them, download them as an MP4 format, download just the audio if you'd like, and then also we create the embed code so you can put them on your blog or anywhere else you'd like. We will always have a free option with no ads, nothing distracting you, just a professional, clean meeting. That's something I just really wanted to focus on. We wanted to make sure that you're delivering your content. Not only are we staying out of the way, but we don't want anyone else trying to take attention away from your meeting. So we really just wanted to create that professional meeting room. And then, as I said, we try and stay out of the way with our branding as well. You'll see very low branding for MeetingBurner. And the reason is we want you, the host, to have the ability to really show off your information, your branding, and your personality in the meeting and not let us get in the way. Now I'm going to start getting into some of our premier features, and that's the meeting temperature. Now, as we do the demo later in this webinar, I'll actually show you how that meeting temperature works. It's a fantastic tool for gauging real-time sentiment in the room. So what's great is, as you can see from that bar at the bottom, we have very interesting and non-interesting. Your attendees have the ability to go in real time, move that back and forth. So you can start gaining a little bit of knowledge about what your attendees are feeling, not only live while you're hosting, but also after the meetings. We provide that full meeting temperature report. So as a sales and marketer, I can take that information and work on my presentation, mold it, change it, find out ways that I can either convert business more effectively or communicate my messages more effectively. We always say that webinars are the loneliest place because it's just you, the host, trying to convey your message to possibly 1,000 people on the other side that don't have a way of communicating back to you. And so you don't know if they're getting up and leaving like you would in an actual live meeting where you were standing up there in front of a group. You don't know if they're playing on their cell phone or if they're texting, and this is a way to try and keep them engaged in your content. Autopilot meetings is a feature we rolled out with when we launched out of beta in February, and really it's the ability to record your meeting and then play it back in a live meeting environment at a time in the future. So you can dial in and make sure your presentation is perfect, and then post it in a live meeting environment where you're collecting registration, you're collecting emails, you're building your list, you're working on lead gen, all while that presentation is running and you're not actually there hosting. Great tool, something to keep in mind, and in a lot of times it actually will mitigate a lot of tech issues you may have as well. We do have full iOS app. One quick tip with the iOS app, for Android, you can actually use it in the native browser. And this is a general tip for success using MeetingBurner. When we start practicing our meetings, it's hard for us to actually see what we're showing our attendees. If you have an iPhone or if you have an iPad or an Android device, you can actually log in as a guest through your device and watch what you're doing as the host to see what your attendees would see. So I'll say practice, 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 because that's how you're really going to get good at delivering a fantastic presentation. So that's the first tip of the webinar. We have PayPal integration built into our Premier offering. A lot of our hosts, when we were in beta, and a lot of the polling and research we've done, shows that a lot of people like to charge for their events. If you're pushing some source of, or some sense of IP that you've created, or you have some ideas on marketing, or whatever it is you're trying to sell, webinars are a great way of actually being able to monetize that content. And so we allow for PayPal integration both on the live recordings and as well through those autopilots. 1,000-person meeting, and we have a little plus near that icon on the top. Our Premier account goes up to 1,000-person meeting room, but also there's the ability to have larger meetings by request. So you have my contact information, chris@meetingburner.com. If you want to put on a large meeting, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and we'll absolutely work with you to make the best meeting experience for you and for the attendees. So to recap, really, we have a dynamic solution for webinars and online meetings, and we'd love for you to check it out. Those are the top-level features that are very unique for us and very different than a lot of different platforms on the market. Again, all these we'll go through later in the presentation to kind of check out and see and get a feel for where it is in the software, but also how it works and how you interact with it. So let's start our tips and tricks to really conduct some great meetings. We've broken this up into 3 different sections. 24 hours prior to the meeting, kind of how you should look and get prepared. When you're about to start your meeting live and conduct it live, what you should do to make sure you're ready to go from the beginning. And then lastly, general tips for success in any meetings you run. So I'll first say practice, 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 practice. Did I say practice? And the reason I am mentioning this is I use MeetingBurner on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and stuff still goes wrong. I'll forget to click something, or I'll forget to share a different part of my screen that I need to. And the more you practice, the more you become accustomed to the software, the better you will be at every single meeting you do. And what you'll find is the more you do these meetings, the better you can create the content, the more you can change how your delivery works. It's like anything, like speaking in front of a large crowd, live and in person. The more you do it, the better you will be. And the more you practice your delivery, the more you practice what you're trying to convey, the more chance you have of it resonating with the people that you're giving it to. So let's start with 24 hours prior to the meeting. You have moderator bridge commands, and what they are is the ability to mute the line, or to lock the line down, to unmute the line, and they're in our back office, in your dashboard right when you arrive there, and I'll show you them as we do the demo, but make sure you print them out. Hitting *5 mutes the whole line, and then unmute the same way. Well, you're in the middle of your meeting and you need to mute because there's a dog barking and you forgot to before, but yet you don't have those printed out or you don't have them written down. You're scrambling to figure out how to do this, and your meeting can really just kind of take a nosedive automatically. So my recommendation, always print out your moderator commands and have those readily available so that on the fly you can hit those buttons that you need to. In the same vein of our practice, schedule a test meeting. Most of us have coworkers or friends that would be supportive and want to jump on, and troubleshoot as you go. Our support staff is always available to talk, to help you with meetings. I'm available to help if you need it, but also grab someone, just throw them in there as an attendee and start walking through. Gauge their experience, see how it's working. What you're going to find is, and I'll mention it here in a little bit, the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you're actually going to figure out how your meeting room is going to look for other people, but as well how the experience is going to be for you as a host. And having someone else there will be able to mitigate any issues you have. And that leads me to number 3, which is to really conduct your meeting with the same computer in the same place and test all the features that you want to do, conveying the same information you're going to make sure it all works great. And if there's a lag or if things aren't working, there are things you can do within those 24 hours to readjust before that meeting goes live. And as we get to the conducting the live meeting, we get to things like checking your connection speed. So figuring out what you have. The base level for that is about 1 megabit per second as an uplink. Anything less than that, that's a small bandwidth to be able to send all the information from your computer up to our servers and then back down to all your attendees. So I recommend testing. That way you can find out if that room on that computer is the best place to go, or if you should be at another place or another location with a faster internet speed or a faster computer. So actually conducting the meeting, my recommendation is to close all unnecessary software. If you're not using it during the meeting, it shouldn't be there. And the reason we say that is, anything that could take resources away from your presentation, we want to totally avoid. If you're not using Skype, shut it down. If you're not using your chat, if you're not using your instant message, shut it down. And the reason we say is, A, we don't want to have sensitive information popping up on the screen, but also we want to make sure that resources are safe. Always get to your meeting early, 10, 15, 20 minutes early, whatever your schedule affords you before doing a big meeting. Make sure you're there, get set up, get prepped, make sure the meeting room is set up the way you need it, make sure there are no tech issues, make sure your computer doesn't act funky. Get in there and get going, because what you'll find is a lot of your attendees will be there early waiting for you to start. because they get that great, notification from their calendar saying 10 minutes to the meeting, and they just go ahead and log in and get there to make sure they're there. After you download the screen sharing app, make sure you actually figure out what it is you want to share. We provide you in that screen sharing applet a preview of what you're actually showing. I still do it today. I've made the mistake many, many times. I use dual monitors. So I have two different monitors, one that I conduct the meeting on and one that holds the host platform and anything else that's going on my computer. Again, most things are shut down. I've started the meeting or started a demo and realized that I'm sharing the wrong monitor. So make sure you actually take a look at what you're sharing so that it's being conveyed to your attendees and is matching what you're trying to convey. A lot of us just start going and don't realize we haven't switched over to the right application or the right area. So let's transition now to the general tips for success. Always try and use a landline. Much better audio quality than using a mobile device. You won't risk dropping a call. You won't risk having issues with Skype, latency issues, depending on where you are in the world. The one thing I'll say about Skype is it's a great option as an attendee. As a host, it becomes difficult. We offer it for our hosts because some people don't have an option other than using Skype. And using a Skype call is a free call, both for hosts and for attendees, because you're calling a MeetingBurner conf, which is a username. But anytime you're going to use something like Skype, which is also requiring bandwidth, you need to have that fast upload speed, or it's going to really start taking resources away from the meeting, which is going to slow down your screen share, which is going to cause choppiness in the voice on Skype. So the best thing you can do for call quality is a landline. And again, we're going to be looking into, we're going to be building the voice over IP system. So once that's ready, this should help mitigate some of these issues. Remember to always record your meeting. The reason we think this is important is if you're in the pro or the premier level, you have this ability. We store it for you. It's not eating up any resources, on your home computer. It's on our server. But it also allows you to go back and look and see if what you're trying to convey or what you're actually presenting in the meeting looks the way you want it to. It's your way of having a check and balance system to see how the meeting lands from your attendees' perspective. Don't transition too quickly. We pride ourselves on really having such a simple and fast upload speed for the host and especially for the attendee that you never know how fast the internet speed is for your attendees. If you give a little bit of time in between slides, in between what you're trying to convey, to allow it to be delivered, you'll have a much better chance of making sure everyone on the other side has a great meeting experience. When you transition too quickly, it ends up skipping and going back, and you may be delivering the content from your computer extremely fast, but imagine someone on a very slow internet connection isn't being delivered that content at the same time they're being delivered the voice. It would really create a bad experience. So always give just a little buffer in between everything you do. I mentioned it before just a second ago with the high-speed internet connection. Easy free resource for that is speedtest.net. You can click that and see what your upload and download speeds are. This will give you a great gauge of how fast you're going to be able to deliver the content to us, which then gets obviously delivered back to everyone else. So as I said before, 1 megabit per second upload is probably about the slowest you want to have to actually conduct a really, really good meeting because it's going to be tough to get that information up to our servers again to deliver to everyone else in time and with a fast speed. And lastly, it's best to share a custom region or a custom app, best to share an application or a custom region. The reason we say that is when you share that entire screen, you'd be sharing the browser bar, you'd be sharing any kind of other information if you were doing a web demo, which you might not need to do. You might be showing your bookmarks. Really just focus in and show the content that you want to convey to everyone else. And that is really, I think, a very important thing. Also getting in the habit, as I mentioned before, of selecting that specific application or custom region will ensure that you're not sharing anything else on your screen. Here's my contact information again, my Twitter handle. So we also wanted to make a special offer for everyone who watches this, everyone who's on the call. And that is use the promo code CVD, my initials, and we'll allow you to upgrade to the Premier level for the price of Pro. So go to trymeetingburner.com and put in that CVD promo code when you select your Premier if you're a new user, and you'll be able to have that price for life. If you're an existing user, go back in your account settings to upgrade my account and select the Premier, and it'll ask you for a promo code there. And put in CVD, and same way, you'll be right in and have that upgraded price. So I'd actually like to do a demo of our products now. Don't worry if you didn't write any of the information down. We will put it back up here after we get done. So I'm going to start us off in our what we call dashboard. So our dashboard is the area we land on after we log in. So after we put in our name, username and password, we come in, and this gives us our central control for what we want to do using MeetingBurner. We give you a few different options, as you can see. The biggest two that you're going to use here after you get set up is Meet Right Now and Schedule a Meeting. A lot of folks ask us whether or not we're a webinar company or an online meeting company, and the simple answer is we're both. Meet Right Now is the ability to physically just schedule a meeting, to send someone a link, jump in a meeting room, share your screen, or allow them to share their screen, and really just kind of get in there and do what you have to do in a collaborative nature. And schedule a meeting is something like we're doing now, or a large webinar where we actually schedule it. We customize what our meeting room looks like. We send out invitations. We register people. We do everything we need to do for a large webinar. In this dashboard as well, we can see all of our past meetings. We can set up our meeting profile. And then if you're an affiliate or would like to be rewarded for referring people, we do have a large affiliate program. You can also look at all of our meetings that are scheduled, all of our meetings from the past meetings, and all of the upcoming meetings we have. Lastly, on this screen, I mentioned the Conference Bridge Moderator command. They're right here in this link under Account Details. If we click that, we'll actually bring up our Conference Bridge info. Write these down before you start. Make sure so that you will be prepared once you start. All right, so we're actually going to meet right now. We're going to go through the process of what it's like just to jump into a meeting real quick. If I click Meet Right Now, the dialog box will open and make us submit our details. So first, we're just going to select a title to make it easy called Test Webinar. So once I select Test Webinar, that'll be the link or the title of what I'm sending. And as you can see, the meeting link title is my name, my last name, .enterthemeeting.com. It's very easy. Again, we wanted to make sure that branding was there for you, you the host, or if it's a company for the small business. We wanted to make sure that name was there, not MeetingBurner or anything else. So very easy and very much branded for you. The dial-in number, and then we invite participants. I click the Invite Participants button, and I have all the pertinent information that I would need to send. And lastly, just start our meeting. So I'm going to click to start our meeting. That just did. As you can see, it opens up a white page. Now it'll start to load. In about 3 seconds, we'll be in and ready to host our meeting. Just that quick and just that easy. We download the screen sharing outlet, and we're ready to go. So let me familiarize you with some of the area here on your host file. On the left-hand side, down here at the bottom, you can see my name because I'm the host and I'm blue. That means I have the control of sharing the screen. If we had other people in this meeting, theirs would be a gray avatar that I could select and allow them to share their screen. Right next to that is chat. In chat, I can have a full chat with everybody in the room. A lot of big meetings, a lot of folks like to disable the chat, so it doesn't get to be crazy in there. But really, chat's the ability to talk with everyone in the meeting room, ask questions, do what you need to do with everyone that's in there that's attending. To juxtapose that, we have question and answer, which you can see. Now, from your platform, inside the meeting, it'll actually say, ask a question. And so that's your ability to ask the host a question. And as the host, you'll see a little white or a little red ribbon come up and say the number 1, 2, 7, however many questions have come in, and you can go in and answer them. Now, staying up there on that top bar, right next to it, we have record. What's great about record, again, it's on Mac and PC. It's a one-touch system. You're going to see this common theme in everything that we're doing. It's that one touch. Just click record. It'll redraw the screen and go. And I'll show you in a little bit where actual recordings are in the back office. Information is right above chat and participants. This gives us the title of our webinar as well as our dial-in number and Skype. And if I click the Skype button, it'll actually load up the Skype application itself and allow me to dial MeetingBurner calls. And the last way we can participate in the meeting through audio as an attendee is to click the listen button. And the listen is really the ability to listen just to your browser. You have no way to communicate back to the host as an attendee, but you can listen to the host actually deliver the meeting. And again, the best way to make sure your audio quality is high is to use that dial-in number and code as the host to deliver. It'll automatically connect to the meeting room, and then it will share your audio with everyone there. We do allow for webcam integration. So if you have a webcam on your computer or an external, you can start your webcam, and you can, as the host, share the live feed of yourself. We allow broadcast only, which is for the host to share their webcam. We do not allow for the multi-cam system where your attendees can do it as well. And the last feature here in the actual host platform is that meeting temperature that we referenced before. And that is, again, the ability to get the real-time sentiment in the room and to look at what your attendees were feeling or what they were expressing during the meeting. And all you have to do is move that back and forth as an attendee. So I'll show you what an actual meeting temperature report looks like after a meeting has concluded. If I open it up right here, we'll actually start, and we'll look at our meeting temperature report. So this is one that we did many, many months ago. But what you can see here is we provide you the actual meeting temperature, or the actual replay of the meeting. And right below it is this full heat map. And this full heat map shows us that sentiment in the room, hot and cold, interested, non-interested, and reflects them, obviously, be the color with this live heat map. So if I go to this blue here, which means people really did not like what they were hearing, and I click on it, I can move to that part of the recording to figure out what I was saying that was losing people's interest. So I can really go back and kind of change up what I'm saying, figure out what I'm doing wrong, figure out why I lost people, and make sure I change that marketing. So really great feature if you are interested in finding out the sentiment of the room. I'm going to go back to our meeting room that we have set up, and I'm actually going to close it out and go back and show you where we can find all of our recordings, which are really the most important thing from my point of view. If we want to create a long tail, if we want to really have the information that we conveyed in this webinar be used long term. So I close the meeting room. I get back to our dashboard. Now, once we're back in our dashboard, I can go to My Meetings tab, which is right here under the logo. I'll click my My Meetings. It'll open up all upcoming meetings that I have, as well as my options for all my different meetings. So I'm going to go to Recording. And right here we can see very easily we provide you the most recent recordings, and we provide you with all the different options you have. Now there's a few options that aren't represented here, such as autopilot. which I'll explain a little bit more detail in a little bit. But what you have is really the base functionality of what you want to show. So the ability to play it in browser. I mentioned before that we can embed on a website and create all that code for you to be able to just grab that, put it on your website, and be able to display that meeting. Export to YouTube is a great feature if you want to create it or push it to YouTube and tag it and have it out there. And then lastly, to download it in MP4 format. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this demo of MeetingBurner is where you can change everything about your meeting room. I go to My Account, and I click Manage My Meeting Room Setting, which is the third option down. I now have the ability to really customize what my room looks like from a feature standpoint. So a large webinar, you may not want to show the participants list, so we give you the option to take that out. If you really think about that meeting platform when you looked at it as little modules or widgets almost, we can disable or enable which ones we want to show per meeting or by default. So as you go through, you have the ability to make sure which features you want to show are there. And actually, lastly, we can go through the schedule a meeting, which is the full webinar system. And I'll show you the full registration for that. It's a quick 4-step wizard that allows you to schedule a meeting for the future. So I click Schedule a Meeting. The same type of dialog, the same type of box pops up like the Meet right now, but it gives me more features that I can control. So let's call this meeting title, again, Test Webinar. And then meeting description, this allows for paragraph breaks and very light HTML. So you can really format and put in as much as you'd like for a body that would be sent out on the registration page in the email. I'll put information in the description. And when I click Next Step, we get to our date and time. I'll select our date to be tomorrow. And then we're obviously going to select it at 1:30 p.m. No one wants to get up at 1:30 a.m. to do a webinar. And next step is we're going to select our conference line. We provide for you the conference line as part of your account. Depending on the level of account you have will determine the level of attendees that may be on your conference line. And one thing to note that's very, I think, unique is we provide you this conference line to use independently of MeetingBurner. So if you have an account with us and you have your dial-in number, your conference line, you can use that at any point. Just provide the attendee pen to whoever you want to be on the call, and you don't actually have to have a live meeting. So nice value add offering a conference line free as well. If you want to record your meeting, make sure you use the MeetingBurner conference line. We have no way of grabbing the audio from an outside conference line vendor. So just to note, if you want to record, make sure you do that. If not, if recording is not important, you can use a different conference line just by clicking that button, putting in your phone number in, and a moderator pin and attendee pin. And once I do that, now I'm done. I'm fully done with scheduling my meeting. It's ready to go. I can add it to my Outlook, add it to my iCal, as well as share the invitation link and provide everyone the meeting ID for iOS. I share it on Facebook and Twitter, do all kind of social promotions that I'd like. Or I can continue configuration and get a little more granular. I can change out when I want to require registration, if I want to integrate PayPal. Essentially, what you see here down on the left-hand side, all of this I can then change from yeses to nos or vice versa. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about promotion that we haven't spoken about yet, we're integrated with Constant Contact, their event marketing solution, built right into the system. If you're a current Constant Contact event marketing user, you can go right through their system. And at one point in setting up your online meeting, you can select your MeetingBurner account, log in, set up everything through MeetingBurner, it will actually deliver all that information back to Constant Contact to continue developing your promotion. So a really great integration partner in Constant Contact that adds a ton of value to our, for our users. So that's it. That's as easy it was to schedule an upcoming webinar. Now we can go out and promote it, whether or not it's independently or through Constant Contact. So I'm going to bring back up my contact information and allow everyone to, there we go. Just brought up my contact information. This will allow you, again, my email address, my personal Twitter as well as the company's, the promo code, and the link to sign up if you have not already. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. I hope that it's been insightful and it'll help you deliver some better meetings. If you have any questions or need any help, again, our support team is always available to help, and I personally am available to all of you to help really kind of figure out how to run the best meeting. We'll be doing more in this series about content creation, how to promote your meetings using Constant Contact, as well as how to promote your meetings to develop lead generation and how to use webinars as a better sales tool. So we're really going to be creating a very comprehensive educational webinars for our users. So I want to thank you all for joining, and I look forward to speaking to all of you soon. Here, I will leave up the slide for a few more moments so that everyone can get this information if they need it, and I look forward to speaking to all of you soon. Thank you.